What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Work With Me session here on Friday on Adobe Live. And I'm so excited because I've got one of my best buddies here with me, Mr. Chris Porter. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? I'm pumped. I'm pumped that we get to do this together. We're gonna have a blast, man.
Yeah, we already said we're going to be probably catching up as well during this, but we're going to have some fun working with Chris, and he's going to be showing us some amazing work that he's working on as well. And give us a little first background on you first. I know all about you, but let those folks that maybe haven't met you yet know a little bit more about you, Chris.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Chris Porter. I'm partner and creative director at Baby Grand. We are a design studio in Memphis, Tennessee, and we specialize in brand identity work, branding in all types of things from physical to digital space. My personal loves are logo design, packaging, anything that has that creative feel to it that you get to physically like touch it and then it turns into something real is super fun. And I've been doing this for over a decade now, running my own studio, worked in agency worlds and everything. And so, now it's doing all types of stuff from side hustles to freelancing to everything. So I'm excited to do some of that with y'all today.
You also dabbled in a little podcasting for a while too.
Yeah. Yeah. Got some podcasting in. It's kind of funny. I'm about to start a YouTube channel again. So we'll see.
Good,
We
dude.
can talk about it.
That's awesome. That's how we first met back in the day. And
hmm
man, it's been like great kind of getting to see not only your growth and what you're doing kind of on the business side, but this stuff as well. And a lot of the stuff we're going to be looking at with today's work. You started board games back in the day, right?
Yes, yes. So I started a board game company called Chris Couch Games, and we had our first successful Kickstarter last year. And our game, Kraken Skulls, that I helped do all the code. I co-designed it, and then I did all the illustration and marketing, all that stuff for it. And it's going to be arriving next month, so people can, buy it. And today we're going to be working on custom illustrations for people that ordered really cool custom cards in that game. We're going to be making some of those illustrations for them.
That's fantastic. So when you did like the backers and stuff, that was one of the things they were able to kind of get in on and be part of the custom cards.
Yeah, so
I
people like
love it.
in the game, we've got pirates and animals, and there's an expansion called Captains and Companions. And so people were able to send in their pictures and say, hey, you can be a custom pirate in the game or put your pet in the game or whatever you want. We've got people that put their stuffed animals in the game. So, anything. And I'm going to do custom illustrations for them and, get those personally delivered to them. It'll be unique.
What a great way to get them into not only like into the game, but like the backing thing. I can imagine that's got to be a tough thing to kind of like find a new and unique thing to get them in on, right? And this is pure customization.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is going to be the cool part about this. So I've got my board set up here for y'all, and I kind of want to just show you a little bit about the game itself. And you should
Yeah, go for
also
it.
have a file where you can do your own custom card. You should have two cards in here like this, and it should have some Adobe font text type in there. That way it should auto load if you're using Illustrator. And then you can make your own stuff while we're here. So upload your own picture into
Great.
your file, go along with us and make some cards with us for this hour. I want to show y'all a little bit more of the art of the game so you kind of understand what the game look and feels like. So these are all the cards in the game. You can see it's kind of got this sort of very minimalistic style.
Yeah.
It's simple. It kind of reminds you of like an old school video game a little bit.
Oh, dude,
Um,
I'm totally getting old, like kind of like right after Atari days.
yeah. Yeah, I wanted to make
Feels
it like really
good.
playful and fun, but like,
Mhm.
a little bit still piratey. You still feel that. And so these are some of the cool things. And so down here, we've got more of the pirates and everything. And then we've got some mermaids over here and things like that.
I love
And,
it.
and so, yeah, today we're going to do some of these. So we're going to focus on two ones to start. And if we get to the third one, great. So the first one
Perfect.
we have is one of the backers. They wanted their captain name to be Benjamin Swimmins.
These
So
names are great, man.
yeah, there's a lot of really good ones. There's a lot of really good ones.
Yeah,
Uh
Peg Leg Meg is
Peg
I
Leg
saw that
Meg.
one earlier. I was like, I just love it. It's just
Yeah.
great.
And so in the file, you've got layers. I'd like to try to keep organized. So in the layers, you have borders. So you can kind of see this is where the cut line of the card's going to be. The blue is so you can see how the card will be shaped. This safe area, you can see that's where you want to keep things within because
Correct.
of shifting and everything. So as you're doing your designs, you might want to reference that by pulling it up just to make sure you're not going over that.
There you go.
And then we've got scroll content. So this is all the words in there. And we're going to lock that because I don't want to be touching that while I'm
Yep.
designing. And then you've got the background. So all the backgrounds of the cards are going to be the same for the captains and the pets, but they can kind of be tweaked if we need to. So I'm going to lock this background layer just so that way I don't have to worry about clicking into it.
Perfect.
And then there are different types of cards in the game. You have cards that help you when you're moving, cards that help you when you're fighting, and then cards that help you as you're digging up treasure. And so all of these have different layers as well. So for Benjamin Swimmins, he selected his ability to flip one die completely upside down. So as he's fighting, he can play his captain card and then he can flip it to where he can be better in the dice roll. So we want to just first off just change this from the navigation to the battle, which I think it's just on this one here
There
to
you go.
start.
Isn't
So
the layering process the best to if you struggle with not using layers? I think you just explained all of the best benefits, right? The idea of like if you're working on just character, lock everything else. You don't have
right.
those accidental clicks and things like that. And I know that's probably the best reason I really got to the point of like using layers in Illustrator religiously.
Yeah, I mean, I say that layers, you don't have to name every layer, you don't have to be totally organized, but once you get a rhythm down with layers, man, it just really helps a lot.
Oh,
Layers and
it's second nature.
libraries. Yeah.
Yeah. Layers and libraries.
Layers and
That's
libraries.
that's got to be something. Is that the name of an album or a design studio? I love that.
Yeah, it's got
Or
to be
maybe a new
like,
Adobe show.
oh, layers and
Hey,
libraries. Hey, Adobe
with
show. Here we
with
go.
Chris and Nick. Let's
With
pitch
Chris
it,
and
dude.
Nick. Let's do it.
You saw the birth of it right here.
Right here. You are all a part of it.
Layers and libraries. Don't be
Layers and
surprised if I send you
libraries.
a T-shirt, buddy.
Hey, I'll take it. We'll make a hat. We'll make a merch line.
Bro,
The whole kit and caboodle.
I was just wearing my hat. I got a hat at Adobe Max last year that had "Name Your Layers," and
Hmm.
I no other hat gets more questions on what does that mean, and I'm like, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, if you don't know, you just don't know sometimes. It's just how it
Exactly.
is.
Exactly. I got a quick question as you're going through here.
Hmm.
How do you keep such a consistent style with these characters? Like they really do feel like you've got like commonalities, right? Like looks like they're based off of like rounded rectangles and all
Hmm.
those things. How are you keeping the consistency from and as you get into this first one? What's your secret there?
Yeah, so for me, it's about trying to use similar elements and keeping stroke widths the same. So for all everyone's arm, basically using this same stroke width or something similar, using the same body type. Now, some people in their custom cards, like they'll want their pirate to be really tall or slim. Like,
Sure.
for instance, this person, they want it based off their avatar in a video game. So I'm probably going to make them a little bit different than the characters in game, just so they feel like they've got something unique.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all about using similar elements and repeating things. So
Gotcha.
yeah, having the same. So for instance, I know that they want a coat, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of have a code already built here, but this has got some different like cool emblems on running down it.
Yeah.
And it's got a little bit of tatteredness to it, which this one doesn't have. And it's got like a cool belt. And so I want to be able to take this code, I think, and I like that it's already tattered. So I'm going to go ahead and
Gotcha.
take this and then use that in his design, at least to start out.
Gotcha. And it's great because you have commonality, and once you have a few of these ready to go, you're almost, you know exactly which one to maybe base the new character off of.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And the difficult thing about doing custom cards is that you have to, it's a client, right? Like you
Yeah.
can't just do it and be like, I like it. Like they have to like it.
Yeah.
So seems like I would assume maybe he'll want this tattoo in there somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll probably give him a couple options where it's sleeveless and he's got the tattoo showing of his
Oh,
personal
great idea.
tattoo. And
Yeah.
then also one where this like tattoo is just in his chest because you know, we don't know, I don't know which one he'll prefer. And he's got
Gotcha.
like a gun here. And I know in the game I made a gun.
Cool.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get a gun that I already have, just
Real
as
quick.
like yeah, go ahead.
How many revisions do these people get?
They get one revision.
Oh, you actually did put that in there.
I did, yeah,
Oh
of
wow,
course.
man.
Yeah.
That's great. I
Yeah,
love it.
everybody, you've got to set expectations, whether it's a huge client, a small client, you have to let people know what they can expect from you, what you should be giving to them. If you don't have
Crystal clear.
expectations,
Crystal
then
clear, baby. Right?
yeah, it's gonna be a nightmare.
As long as they know. And then they'll put more care into the edits that they give you if they only get one round.
Right. They'll be like,
You know?
okay, I got to be really like specific about what I want here because I only got
Exactly.
one round with this.
Yeah. And then when you first started this, did you do one or two kind of versions of these avatars and say like, okay, I'm going with this squared off kind of chunky vibe, or was that from the start?
Yeah, well, normally it takes me a while to even get going.
Yeah.
I really try to find a style that I want first, and then I'll say, cool, that's where I want to go.
Yeah.
I kind of have a feeling like I just kind of know what I want to do.
Yeah.
But there definitely was iterations of this style that did not look as good as this,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
you have to be willing to play around, make mistakes, um, and just figure out what's going to be best.
Gotcha. It's fun seeing it all come along too, where it's like how you can make the character come to life with very simple shapes, you know?
Right. So like I see that he's got like a
Oh yeah.
little swoop here and he doesn't have a lot of
Yep.
hair on his head. So I don't want to like so for instance, with this person, I'll probably need to remake this head because this head's a bit more square.
Yeah.
And since usually for the characters, like if their head's really square, they have hair. If they
Yeah.
don't have hair, then they need a little bit of a taller head because
Gotcha.
it's not going to look that good.
Yeah.
They're gonna look like a blobby person. And so I wanna give them an opportunity to like, look decent.
There you go. And how many are you doing custom total?
I think there are around 40 custom cards to do.
Wow.
So a
Dude,
lot of people wanted their custom cards.
that's amazing, dude. How was that what you were expecting maybe? Was it like kind of in that zone?
It's more than I expected for sure.
Yeah.
More
Oh,
more
dude.
than I expected.
That little swoop is good. But that's a good problem to have, I think. You know, you're going into like these uncharted waters, no pun intended here, but building a game, right? Starting it from scratch, and how many people will be interested, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we tried to limit it at first. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna give everybody like the ability to get a custom card
Yeah.
because that can get out of hand. But so many people wanted them. We kept getting requests to extend the amount that we were allowing people to order. And I was like, well, if people really want it, it's going to be kind of daunting for me, but I want to make people happy. Like I
Yeah.
want people to feel like they got something that they couldn't get otherwise. And so for me, it's going to be worth all this extra effort and it will be extra effort. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not going to be easy by any means. Um, but so with this, what I'm doing now is just trying to get it because I see he's got some hair kind of coming down. I know the beard's going to be a big thing. So I'm just trying to get the swoop where it aligns
There you
And
go.
and also like these aren't straightforward characters, right? Like they're kind of off center. So everything has to kind of not be in the center and they're looking kind of awkwardly.
Yeah.
So it takes a second to get down what how they're supposed to stand.
Do you find that an easier way? Because it's like if it's a straight on thing, there's certain things that just feel too symmetrical. But I almost feel like this vibe, slight 3/4, allows you a little more room to personalize.
I think it does.
You
You know,
know?
I think it allows for more personalization. You know, it feels a bit cooler when you
Hmm.
have a character that is like, oh, this is like nothing else that I have, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and there's not like any other game that is doing this or anything. And so, yeah, I like to have it a little bit different. So I know he had a patch over here,
There
so
we go.
and it looks like he's got like a little skull and a scar on that. So the patch is
Is
gonna be on this eye,
there you go.
and then the scar will be here. So
Was that like a video game avatar that they sent?
yeah, so I
Yeah.
just tell people to send in whatever they want
Okay.
and I'll make it happen.
You're
And
just, you're just asking for it, aren't you, Chris?
yeah, here's how to not manage things. Right?
Yeah, that's what we do on Fridays. We tell you what not to do.
Yeah, so you need to watch Office Hours and learn not what.
There you go.
Yeah,
Right out. Yep. The next day over, we learn this stuff. You
right.
know.
So
Yes,
I'm
that's a
yeah, go
tough one
ahead.
because now you got the swoop and the patch trying to kind of have enough differentiation, right?
Right. So I'm gonna just pull the patch out so I have it, and then I'm
There
gonna
you go.
use the shape builder tool just to get rid of these things right on the dot there.
Nice.
And then the other thing that I always try to do is I try to like go over. I don't
Yes,
want these to be edged because that little sliver, depending on how it could
it's gonna
print,
show.
it's gonna show
Yep.
somewhere. So just a little over coverage,
Good.
you know. And now I know I need a little scar here. And what color is his eyes? Is it like kind of bluey? So
It's
I
kind of
might,
like a slate blue. Yeah.
yeah, I try to give him a different eye color because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, trying to make him feel a little bit unique. So like,
There you go. If you are you keeping into like let's say your color palette, how would you describe it in like 2 words?
um, Easter vibrant, vibrant Easter. So I try to make things like the red isn't fully red and the
Mm-hmm.
blue isn't fully blue, you know. So like this Kraken's like this is not fully red. It's like kind of magenta-y red, you
Yes.
know. And so take a pastel and then give it some life. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I wanted to do with all the colors.
Yeah. That's I think you described it nicely. It's neat to see how even those little off whites in the instead of having stark black, you're almost using more of the charcoal that like kind of like 90% gray or well,
Yeah. Yeah,
and then
because I
not
need
it looks good balanced, you know?
yeah, because I need to be able to um I need to be able to contrast blacks because I have
Exactly.
black on black. So I need to be able to use a rich black and a not rich black.
Yep.
So that's part of the reason that exists.
And
And
everything else feels tonally equal. It feels like you look at that and it feels really well balanced when you see it.
yeah, I like it too. I'm trying to find okay, here we go. So I made this beard.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to like use this as a sculpt and
Good.
then so this is another answer to your question before. It's like how do you keep things similar? It's like, you know, you
Pull pull from
just
something else.
just go take it, you
Yeah.
know,
You
whatever
own
you
it.
yeah, I did it already. I'm not gonna don't reinvent the wheel every time. I don't
That's
think I
great.
need that background. So
Has anybody
um
given you have they all given you enough like call it just like specific characterizations in their reference art?
yeah, I mean some people are like really specific, you know, they're
Yeah.
like, I want this, and I've gotten like lore from people too, like,
Yeah.
hey, my character has been sailing for 20 years and like, you know, they've And I'm like, all right, well, I can't illustrate 20 years of experience, but I'll try like my best.
That's fantastic, man. I love it. They're really getting into it. And I think, isn't that the best? Like, that's the kind of fan and kind of customer you want for your game, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think that is kind of what you want is you want people to feel like they're getting something that no one else is getting. They own it. It's for them, and you can make lifelong fans that way. And I think
Yeah.
that's important, you know?
Yeah, right. I'd keep that card forever, man, if that was me.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point is like you want people to keep stuff and
Yeah.
like really cherish it.
Yeah.
So,
That's cool. So let's see. We got this guy going, and now you're looking at. So that beard looks like it's a little more like almost tapered down. It looks like from the reference, it kind of almost
yeah,
teardrops a little bit.
yeah, it's gonna be
Mm,
pointier. I'm just trying to
yeah.
get his mustache down right now.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm gonna
Oh, there you
scale
go.
it, and then because again, it really has to be here.
It's already looking great. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And so like it's funky, it's weird, and I love it, So
Yeah.
and so once I get down, um, because again, it's like I don't have to abide by stereotypical rules. Like his mouth can just be like a oval, like a long oval.
Yes. There you
Um,
go.
and so we'll do that. That'll give me some good stuff to work with. Now, this needs to be kind of more here. And then I'm gonna cut this, get rid of that mouth,
There you go.
just so it's not in the way.
Man, the rounded corner tool is technically your best friend through this whole process, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Me and the rounded corner tool have gotten real tight. We
That's a
have dinner every week.
I'm teaching a graphics 1 class for the first time. I teach a graphics 3 class at my school. And what's interesting is I showed someone the rounded corner the other day, a student. They absolutely, it was like that first impression of like, you're kidding me. I could do that by just dragging that little circle.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a whole new world like when you learn to use it.
It's amazing. It's just so neat to see that these little tools that they keep dropping into the apps are really becoming those like the ones that become those like game changers, and they're now you're using it so often that it's like, what would you do without it, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I love like tech stuff and everything. And so I'm currently using a Razer Naga mouse. It's got like 20 programmable buttons. So all my Adobe Illustrator and everything is all, I don't have to use the shortcuts on the keyboard. They're all
Oh
programmed in the
wow, that's
mouse.
great, dude. Yeah.
And then I also use Astute Graphics. So I've got a few big ones I use like InkScribe, MirrorMe, and they're built for Adobe products and they're really great. But Adobe itself just like has so many cool things within the program that you can't really learn them all.
Yeah.
And
I
so
I
yeah.
always say I think I know about, most people would probably be like, "Oh, you probably know about 80% of Illustrator's tools," and I'm like, "I'm probably at more like 50, to be honest with you." It's impossible. There's just too
Yeah.
many little hidden features, and then the way you can use things together. Just how you were even using like shape builder, and I'm a big fan of Pathfinder as well. So it's like, to me, those are the ways that the app does all of the work technically for you in a lot of ways. Like, it streamlines your process so good too, you know?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I love Illustrator. I'm huge fan of it.
Yeah,
Can't speak more highly of it, honestly. Like it just is great.
that looks good. I like the vibe of that, the way the bottom part of the beard's looking. And then you got that little part in there too. That looks
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So I want to just, have a little bit of it's in there. So I'm gonna
Yep.
do it justice. I might have
Yep.
to make this a little bit bigger so it's not so ridiculous.
How are you balancing this plus, let's say, studio work, day to day, the 9 to 5 grind? Because this is something you're really doing on the side, right?
Yeah, it's definitely on the side. It's more at nights. Or if I'm having a slow day, like I can hop on it. But for the most part, it kind of just takes care of itself.
Yeah.
I just make sure that I'm managing my time well. I use a lot of apps to make sure that I'm not like overdoing it. Take time for myself. I've been going to
Yep.
the gym a lot more, so I have more energy. Like
Yep.
that's a big one.
That'll do it.
You know, you would think like working out would make you more tired, which it does,
No.
but it gives me so much more energy just to be able to function. Like,
Yeah. Are you morning, afternoon, evening?
I'm a bit of both. It just
Yeah.
kind of depends on the day, honestly. Like,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I'm feeling it that day, then I guess I'm going to the gym early that day.
Good.
That's kind of the only, I don't have a rhyme or reason. I'm just kind of a chaos, instrument of chaos.
That's how I've always been, and then I've just been more religiously going super early in the morning to get it completely out of the way and check it off the box. But it's also like that. You're right. It's like the focus is 10 times better when you hit the computer, and you know
Mm-hmm.
you've got it. I don't know if it's just giving you that kind of that sense of energy or whatever it might be, but man, it's made a huge difference in my workflow. I feel like I'm so much better in my first few hours, which it
Yeah.
used to be sometimes like, oh, it wasn't until about 11 I was really kicking into gear.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's how it is for me too.
Right?
I need something to get me up and at 'em and feeling good about myself,
There you
and
go.
that
Oh,
helps a
look at
lot.
that. That looks cool. Now, did you make this one skinnier? I can't remember. I forgot. Did you? Because this one's quite a, like the character he's giving you is quite slim, obviously,
I
but
haven't yet. I was
no,
just basically just testing if that beard was gonna work how it is,
exactly.
because his beard kind of like it tapers, right? So
Yeah.
like this is very flat, and so I needed to kind of do this. Like this needs to kind of come up,
Yeah.
right? And so because of that, I'm gonna need to taper these down,
Okay.
bring that up.
Oh wow, that's a great shape, dude. Do you find one of the hardest things I find is placing things random, like uniform, perfect. I can lay it out, right?
Hmm.
But anytime you have to do something that look naturally kind of random,
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to put random stuff places because you're like,
mm-hmm.
that shouldn't be there, you know.
Yeah,
But being in the game design has actually kind of helped me to just accept that randomness exists.
there you
Like,
go. Yeah,
it's
and
okay to let things be random.
looking at that as a whole, it looks really well crafted. Like it looks, oh yeah, look at those shapes. Then you see it, what it's made out of, and you're like, that's all it is, and it
Yeah.
works so good together.
Yeah, like the more I can taper this, the better. And so I'm just trying to push it. How can
Yeah.
I keep pushing and pushing and pushing? That's kind of how I've been working with this game is, all right, I really need to push it, um, push the envelope with a design or something like that. And so that's kind of feeling all right for now. Now I want to push. This is a new thing that I'm going to do is try to push his skinniness, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm gonna get rid of these elements here so they're not in my way.
There you go.
He's got a leg, so I don't need to worry about that.
That peg is
So
awesome, by the way. I love it.
yeah, it's a fun one, man. I like that one a lot. Um,
There's also like you got the tightness with the kind of the rope around the, are you going to go that specific, like where he's got like the rope around the waist and a little bit of that taperedness, or do you get that
yeah,
that
I
into the
am.
body shape?
I am. I'm gonna try to do this without breaking everything. And so in order to do that, I'm actually just gonna get all of it minus the bottom,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna bring him up. Oops, I got too much. I don't need I don't need all of that. Like I need this minus his legs, not his beard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring that up, and then this will change to that rope.
Gotcha.
But just as a reference point, I'll do that. Come here. And so now he's got that lengthiness to him.
I see it.
Um,
Yeah.
it's just like 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna grab some of these, and then 1, 2, 3. Oh, grab things I didn't want to grab.
There you go.
Cool. Now he's a bit skinnier. He's a bit
Yep.
lankier.
Yep.
His feet are a bit too wide, but he's also kind of got some bare feet going on, so I'll fix
Oh
those
yeah.
later. Doesn't
This one's
need
yeah,
those.
this is an interesting one because he's wearing kind of like it almost feels like bandages around the foot,
Right.
and
Yeah,
then the
it
toes are showing. So you're gonna go
yeah.
into that much detail?
Yeah, I mean it'll be
Yeah.
easy to do
Yeah.
because I can just basically I'll cut this here so his toes look like they're actually like showing. All righty, so we need to
What's above?
create his
What's above? Zoom into his head on the reference. It looks like on the reference are those palm leaves? Oh, there it is. Okay, because when you show it, it almost feels like that's kind of a hat. I couldn't tell if it was a palm leaf or a hat.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just behind there.
There you go.
But yeah, I think I saw that someone asked what are we making? We're making a custom pirate card for a backer of a board game.
Yes.
So, someone that wanted a custom card and we're making it for him.
There you go. Yeah. So we're doing a ton of cool little show those the whole series there. Is that on the same artboard? Yeah, there you go. So you got a bunch and these are all kind of custom. Even the pets. What a great idea to throw those in.
Yeah, we'll come over here and do this dog in probably about 10 minutes.
Good.
Dog pets are a little bit easier than people.
Yeah.
Because they can be very quickly like addressed with shapes and stuff. Or at least
And
they can be.
the pets don't chime in with changes.
Well,
The people do.
the people are almost more about the pets than the people, you would
That's
think.
hilarious, man. That's really hilarious. But it's so neat to see how those little characteristics come through and like so do you try to match anything with the body pose or is it more just the features and the overall vibe?
I will probably I might try to do the pose.
Yeah.
I do have in another card somewhere, like I've got this kind of upward arm,
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say that bent arm might be cool.
yeah, but I I have like a standard where I have like a shoulder and then an arm bend.
Yeah.
And so I could do that here.
Yeah.
I probably will, but not right now. Let's see how I did that. Okay. Yeah. So that was above it. So I want to bring that up again.
That's cool.
Use that there. So now that tear is there. And I need to bring up his shoulders a bit.
It's also looks like he's got a little bit of like a engineered shoulder pad on those shoulders. Like there's a
Yeah.
little extra material or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tweak a little bit of that. Because I don't want his shoulder to be, and that's the cool thing about this. I can get like really into it close here,
Yep.
and then I can get that lined up. Come here and make sure that that is. I might not even need that there.
Have you hit save yet?
I actually have an autosave that
Oh, good.
happens from
There
a
you go.
from my it's just a little button here.
Great.
So as I'm going, I just inherently hit
There
it.
you go. Are you 100% mouse?
I have a trackpad as well. That's kind of
Good.
my deal is mouse and trackpad.
Oh, so like as you need them, right? Like kind of like
Well,
swap from
I
one to the other.
mouse is for designing, trackpad is for moving. And then I
Yes.
use my button to get hand in here, switch back to there. I got my eyedropper. Yeah. And
Yeah.
they're all just with my right hand. And then my left hand gives me swiping capabilities.
Gotcha. So you're using them simultaneously, both the mouse and the trackpad together.
Yeah, I try to.
Man, All right, I need to come to Memphis and see this. I got to see that in action.
Yeah, it's man, it's fun. It looks like a RoboCop, but it's
That's
great.
great. Yeah, I keep both the trackpad and the mouse on my desk all the time, but it's more like if it's truly design work and it's Illustrator, whatever, it's 100% mouse. But then if it's like email, maybe like searching for stuff on the web and some reference, I'm right on the trackpad. I just love the fluidity of it, you know?
Yeah, the trackpad to me is one of the most underrated tools. It is so good.
Oh, it's effortless in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what they did that other computers can't do,
The
but
magic, I know, right?
yeah, it's why it's called the Magic Trackpad, I think,
Exactly,
it's like
right?
there's a reason.
That's cool. How do you feel like knowing both? Because I know you more on the branding side, and I know that's most of the work I'm familiar with that you and I have chatted with, and shoot back and forth with each other. But like as an illustrator, what kind of advantages do you see in knowing both and getting to do this kind of stuff in addition to branding?
Yeah, I think that there's just some inherent cool factor that you get from like being an illustrator,
Yeah,
and now like there's just less of a barrier of entry, to
yeah.
try and be an illustrator. And you can try things, like you can try things out, like, you know I love being able to just hop in real quick, try out like something that I've been wanting to do. And it's hard though. I mean, I'm not like gonna say I'm a master illustrator. There's some people that have been doing it longer, but being able to add that aspect kind of like to your game a little bit, like, okay, I can do the brand work and I can character illustrate,
Yeah.
creating a style, testing yourself. It adds a whole new dimension to what you can do. Um, and offer to your clients, which I
Hmm.
think is what everyone wants to do, is offer like, unique stuff to our clients.
Having that little extra, like it might even just be icing, it's like helping be, like let's say maybe a brand needs a mascot, being able to
Hmm.
work on that in conjunction to doing the brand is an amazing asset. I think most independent designers would love to have.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would ideally like to have a way to be able to do illustration and branding
Yeah,
at one time. So he's a little tanner. So I'm going to make him a little tanner,
there you
which
go.
means that this needs to get a little darker. And that'll set the standard for the rest of his body.
That looks good.
And then this random block in here.
Uh-oh. I
Yeah.
love
That's
the little buckles on the side of the jacket. That's cool.
Yeah, just like little buckles here because that's what he's
Hmm.
got, and so I wanna do that justice.
Yep.
And so with this, what I'll do is copy that, and I'm gonna actually no, actually I don't need to copy it. I'm gonna do this. Let's see, that was there. I'll do that. I'm actually just gonna cut this because it'll come back
Yes.
right there. Now that's not perfect, but um, here's what I'll do is I'll copy it, undo that, and then the reason that's messing up is because that's there.
There you go.
And so we will get this. That's going to be a darker part of his body. I don't need that to be stroked. And then this is going to be the lighter part of his body.
There we go.
And I'm going to just basically come in here and not do that. uh, we're going to get the pant color and we're going to make that the stroke
There it
for
is.
his arm stuff.
Like cuff.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he's got like this
Oh, the
really,
bandages. Yeah, yeah.
really wicked bandage thing. So
Oh, that looks cool. It's got a little of that mummy-esque vibe to it.
yeah, and it's so random that I don't have to like try to, make
Right?
this seem cooler than it is. Like
Yeah.
the coolness is that, and I can always pare it down.
There you go. I like the
So
vibe too. What you're doing right now is neat. Like seeing that you're still staying in stroke with these things rather than shapes. don't you feel like it gives you so much more control? And then
Oh
you can
yeah.
obviously expand later when you're all said and done. But having this, what advantages are you finding when you, particularly even that in the arm, rather than trying to make a shape? Why are you using strokes?
Well, keep everything consistent. It'll allow the bandages to all look like they're cut from the same cloth. Haha,
No, no
Uh,
pun intended.
no, pun was definitely intended.
Yeah.
100% was intended. Um, and so it just is better because you have more control. Like if this was a square, like let's say that I had done this in a square,
Yeah.
now I got to go in and I got to turn it and then I
Mm-hmm.
got to make it thinner. That's not fun. This is easier. I can just grab my stroke and I'm just making it and it's done.
There you go.
So, and then if I need to change it, I just, grab this dot and move it around.
What's great
So,
too is I love when, let's say you got hundreds of those all over, and all of a sudden you're like, I think these needs to be a little thinner. You could do a select all
all stroke weight. Yeah.
all stroke weight, and bam, you got them. Or stroke color, whatever it might be. And what a great way to universally change things. And the squares, if you did it in squares, you couldn't do that.
Right.
You know.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that I love about this that I'm going to try to replicate here is I'm just going to grab all these, see if I cut them all. Nope. Get this. And then I'm going to use my mirror me. Just do that. So now I've got this same thing here that I can try to bring over.
There we go. Boom. Look at that.
Done. You know, um, didn't have to recreate all that, which is
Yep.
very nice.
That's great. Speaking of the gym, it looks like this guy's been to the gym
Oh
compared to the
yeah.
other
Oh
guy.
yeah. He's got some skulls to crack,
I, that's awesome.
Oh man.
There you go.
Too
All right,
too
cool. So we got the
ridiculous.
other one. Definitely
Yeah.
a fashion leader over here. This guy with the, look at that jacket.
Yeah, he's not playing around. He's not playing around. All right. So let's make his rope belt and then we'll go over here to the pup real quick.
Nice.
So I want to use a color that is pretty easy to identify. This might be good here. Yeah, that'll be a decent contrast,
There you go.
I think. So we'll do that and we'll go to effect. We'll go to distort and we'll go to roughen.
Oh, my favorite tool, man. Look at that. The zigzag, the smooth, the corner. You got it all.
Yeah. And then we'll just, it's not going to work exactly the way I want to, but that's okay. What I'll
This is
actually
a
do,
I
huh?
was gonna say this is a great example of the tools of Illustrator doing things for you rather than you trying to create this perfect wave. Let the tool and the math of the program do it,
Right.
you know. And look at that, you can even make it ununiform, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And so this is actually a bit
Oh,
more,
dang, that looked great.
yeah. So that's a bit more what I'm wanting for his belt. All right, let's just get rid of you. You're getting
There
annoying.
you
All
go.
right, and then you can do that. And his pants kind of come up to there. So I'm probably actually he might be a bit too tall.
That's okay.
Yeah, just because his pants are like
You'll never hear me say that. If yeah, keep making me taller, Chris. That looks fantastic. I
Yeah,
that looks
please.
authentic.
Yeah, I'll take taller, please, all day. So trying to get exactly where I want these to be, which is about right there. Um,
What have you learned in like having to sell this as a solo kind of entrepreneur with this? What have you learned in that process of trying to get the game going?
I've learned that you're gonna make a lot of mistakes,
Yeah.
and you just have to accept that part of it and get your figures down right, get what you want done quickly, and just accept that sometimes it's not going to go exactly how you envision it to go.
Hmm.
and be able to adjust like on the fly. That's
Yeah.
kind of been the biggest thing for me is just being able to adjust. Because it's really difficult to get something like a game up and running, and so I would recommend it to anyone that's like interested in this kind of stuff. Like just do your research beforehand and try to have some fun with it. Like don't
Yeah.
take it too seriously too. Um, yeah, that would be my suggestion.
Because that's what got you into it in the first place. It's like you think of the fun and the kind of commitment to a certain thing. And if you want to start it as your side gig, like you better love it 100% because it's going to be late nights. It's going to be free time.
Yep,
Might
it's
as
gonna
well.
be all of that and
Yeah.
more.
I remember when you first showed me the first one you did, and you're like, yeah, there's 483 cards. I was like, who did those all? And you're like, I did.
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
did when I had COVID, and it was like, all right, this was a bit crazy. Probably shouldn't do that again,
I'm like,
but
how on earth? Like, I'm always blown away by, especially on the passion projects that people do. Um, yeah, that's where you're your own boss, and you might as well give it 1,000% because like it's for what you're doing and what you want to do.
hmm.
You know,
Oh yeah.
that looks great, man. Let's see. Oh yeah. I mean, this. I mean, it's so funny from far away. You're like, oh, that's a simple character, but when you really go into that picture, there's so much detail on that piece.
Yeah, there's like a lot going on with him.
Yeah,
And so it's nice to be able to have that. Just small things going on with him that only like they will notice or
exactly.
you'll notice, you know. And so these are just kind of just simple references for me to remember, like, all right, I need to go back and like make a little X there for his
Hmm.
rope. But I feel
Yeah,
like what I'll do now, just to show you kind of how I would
let's do it.
do it, is like let's bring him in here. Let's group him all together.
Hmm.
And then there he is.
Nice.
And you can make him a little bit bigger, so it's a bit more overpowering. There you go. There's Benjamin Swimmins, at least the first iteration of Benjamin Swimmins. And I'd go back and make a little tattoo for him and
Yeah.
everything. And I don't know, I might have a tattoo somewhere for another character.
Let's
Uh
see. Oh, was it that one guy? It looked like he might have had one to the right. Where was it? Oh, that was like you have like the little hairy chest
oh
guy.
yeah, I got the hairy chest. Yeah. Yeah. I'll just bring some hairy chest in just for the sake of like having something in there.
There you go.
And then um and he definitely would have black hairy chest. So
There you go. You could even make it look like little a little curly Q line, you know?
oh yeah, for sure.
That's pretty neat.
So we'll just go here. We'll play around with a pet real quick. Let's see
Yeah,
how far we can.
we got a few minutes left. Let's see what we can
Yeah.
do.
So this will just keep this as a reference. Well, I can see it down below. So what I want to do is just get a really quick body shape. So this is a little corgi. Um, so I'll need white. Let's see how the pattern is. Got more black on the back. And so want to get sort of a circle there. Use like an off black. I don't want to use a
Oh yeah,
full
there we go.
full thing. Come in here to shape builder. Boom, that's done. I know that I need legs and I know I already have legs, so I
There
don't
you
need
go.
to go and again recreate the wheel. I'll tweak the legs to be more, custom,
Customize. Yeah. But for
but
now you just want to get like the overall like how's this looking? Give me a wireframe.
right, exactly.
Hmm.
And so I know that corgis have really short legs, so I don't
Yeah.
have to go too crazy.
you're you're already done.
Yeah, there it is.
Mix it, it's done. Let's
Nick
go.
said it was done. I'm sure the client will love it. Just love it. Okay, so that's pretty good.
How much fun have you had with like the copywriting on this? I can only imagine like that's a whole other side of the creativity when it comes to this game, huh?
Yeah, so I mean, I majored in journalism advertising and I originally was in like writing. So being able to do creative writing has been one of the things I love to do. Um, and so it's very fun to be able to go in and just talk, like even giving updates to people. It's like, okay, like I've got to be able to write like a pirate sometimes, you know?
Yes.
And that's just fun. It's just pure fun.
There's also wasn't there a back in the day there was a website that was like how to talk pirate. You could put in a phrase and it would give you like the translation. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
It was
Yeah.
like back in the first few days of everybody like just like, oh, what can we do with the internet? Let's just make pirate talk.
Right. You don't have to overthink it, you know? It's just like
No.
what do people want? People want to just, hear pirate talk.
It's the perfect like kind of theme because there's so much to pull from. There's like endless kinds of like influence and research on obviously the look and feel, right? The terminology. There's so many good things to pull from
Mm-hmm.
creatively, you know?
Oh yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what I'm gonna try to do here is just quickly get a structure down. So one
Nice.
thing I'm trying to do with the pets is I'm trying to give them a front face,
Yes,
while people are looking here, the pets are kind of looking at you somewhat.
I see.
Um, and then some of these that are already made, if they're I think they're in the back, so you can kind of see some of the other ones. So like, see, I've got a pelican
Yeah.
here and a parrot and a walrus
Oh, those are
and
fantastic,
a
dude.
monkey and a raven. So I'm
It
gonna
works
try to
better. I can see what you're doing. And then you can show the full profile of the body and then the face looking straight at us.
right, because people like to see their pet smiling and stuff.
I get you. I get you.
So gonna go 1, 2, 2, and then curve
Oh, yeah.
both of those. Oh, not that. Not that. Come on. There we go.
Do you ever find sometimes you're like, if I just zoomed in a little bit more, I'd be able to grab these anchor points, but for some reason you still just
Yeah,
stay in that one view.
you just refuse to do it the right way.
You're like, I can find it. I know it's there.
Yeah, I just have to commit. If I commit harder to it.
Yeah, these little shapes, they're all like they take the shape of the character, and I love seeing it in its simplest form. Even just the head tilt alone right
Hmm.
there feels like it just feels good, you know?
Yeah, it's like just adds a little bit of personality to it. Um, and this corgi is kind of coming from this angle,
Yeah,
so I might want to like flip them,
there you
um,
go.
just so it's a bit more like what the head's actually doing.
There you go. Nice. If you want, since we got like a minute or so left, show off a little bit of the progress of what you did with our buddy Benjamin there. And
Yeah,
yeah,
so I'll just flip this real quick, and then that's the beginnings of a corgi, even
there we
though
go.
the
Well, yeah,
head's
I
black.
like it. I
So
like
what we did
it.
was we took a body pose here from one of the backers, and they had this character called Benjamin Swimmins, and we basically started with a bunch of basic shapes and created this cool custom illustration for them. And we'll probably add a gun over their shoulder and add a
Nice.
tattoo, and then we put it into our card template here, and so you can kind of see how unique that is to them. And just for the sake of making them barefoot,
There he is.
you
He's like,
know
one last change before we go.
yeah, we'll just go ahead and make him barefooted, so now
I
he's
love it.
really swimming with the fishes.
Bro, that looks fantastic, dude. Well, this is good catching up with you, bud. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so you can follow my studio Baby Grand at on Instagram, all that jazz. It's BBYGRND. Just take out all the vowels. I'm on there. My personals for me are CP23. You can follow me on Behance, Instagram, all the things.
You got it.
So yeah, check us out. Holler at me. Love to answer any
Excellent, dude.
questions.
Well, dude, it was good catching up. We'll do a serious, real one hopefully soon. Catch up soon. But it was
Most
a pleasure
definitely.
being with you here today, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you guys soon.
Appreciate everybody. See y'all.
See ya.